Some former NBA stars aren't in 2K, but luckily people have created them in the game so that you can actually use them. And today I've taken 5 of the best players who aren't officially in the game at 2K and downloaded them from the community, and we're going to go ahead and see if they can win a three-peat. I want to introduce y'all to the squad. Before we go ahead and we get into it, we got Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound. I'm pretty sure there's something about how he wanted 2K to donate like $1 million to the Retired Players Association every year so that he could be in the game. And y'all know how 2K is. They didn't end up doing that. I wonder how much money 2K makes off VC, and they can't do that to get Charles Barkley in the game. He's a legend of the game, and to have him not in here is kind of crazy. But somebody created him as a 95 overall. He's got a bunch of badges, and I feel like he should be really good. He's our best player on this team. He can't really shoot the three ball, but he can pretty much do everything else, so he should be a solid addition. The next guy we have is Chris Webber. And what's weird about Chris Webber is I think he was in the game at the very start of the year. Don't quote me on it. I'm not a scientist. I don't know all the stuff, bro. But Chris Webber was in the game at the start of the year, I think, but 2K might not have had the rights to him. Basically, he has like a perfect face scan, and ultimately he's not in the game. I don't know what ended up happening, but he was removed from the Kings roster. Really good player. What's weird is a lot of these guys are ringless who aren't in the game. Hey, 2K, are y'all hating on the players who didn't win rings? That's all I'm saying. And also, if you enjoy the content, I'd really appreciate if y'all would consider subscribing. We've been growing crazily lately, and we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers. Just recently hit 5K, and I feel like right now we're at like 5.4K. Really appreciate y'all, man. Anyways, let's continue on. Let's talk about Reggie Miller, another ringless guy, but man, this dude could shoot the ball. He's one of the guys from the 90s who I think would play so well in the modern NBA. If he was taking threes like guys are now, oh my goodness, we might be talking about him a little different than we do now. He was really clutch. He was out there hooping with the Indiana Pacers. Ultimately, could never get that ring, though. And what's crazy is that the Malice at the Palace didn't end up happening. Reggie Miller could have had a good chance at a championship, but that ended up changing a lot with all the suspensions to Pacers players. If y'all didn't know, the Pacers were comp that year. They were really good, but ultimately that kind of changed the course of their season with those suspensions. All right, the next guy we got is Brandon Roy. If this man's knees didn't give out on him, he could have been him. He was him until his knees gave out. It's really unfortunate to see what happened with Brandon Roy, an absolute hooper, a bucket. Kobe Bryant had a lot of great things to say about him, and obviously when a player that great has such great things to say about you, that shows a lot about your game. Although, did y'all see the layup he just smoked? But that's just because, you know, somebody else created him. The last guy on the squad is Marc Gasol. What's surprising is Gasol hasn't been out of the league too long, and yet he isn't in the game. I believe Pau Gasol is in the game, but Marc isn't. Marc Gasol was with the Lakers not too long ago, and then he was a part of some trade and then ended up being out of the league. I think that's how it went. Like I told y'all, I'm not an NBA historian or anything like that, but Marc Gasol, he's a bucket. He was shooting the three ball a little bit more later in his career. He won one championship? I don't know, man. He won a championship, I think. He won it with Toronto when Kawhi, and y'all remember in the championship parade, Kawhi was like, ha, ha. Yeah, that was pretty funny. He was the finals MVP and then left the team. That was the first time that ever happened, actually. Not Marc Gasol, by the way. Marc Gasol was an old man at the time. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard. Mr. The shot bounced around the rim and I made it. Mr. dropped off the Golden State Warriors. Y'all forget how good Kawhi was, and now he's showing y'all again now that he's back for injury. I saw all the injury jokes, and Kawhi probably who are we kidding? Bro was not on social media, but Kawhi saw the jokes. We'll just say that. He saw them, and he's taking names now. Look at him out there going crazy, and when he came back, it looked like he might have been washed, but now he's going absolutely crazy. Now, we're going to run a 5-man rotation. I accidentally added JR to the team because I thought he wasn't in 2K, but he was. So now he's just kind of here for moral support as we're running a 5-man rotation with fatigue off. Now let's get to the real point of this video. We're going to go ahead and see if this team can actually complete a three-peat. I'm not really sure. I mean, they look solid, but I don't know. I mean, they look good, I guess, but I think there will definitely be some competition out there in the league, which should make this video interesting. Let's go ahead and let's get into it, though. We're a really good team by the All-Star break, but by no means are we a team that's winning like 75-plus games on the year or anything. We have 4 guys named to the All-Star team. Brandon Roy is the only player missing, unfortunately, but everybody else is here. Considering these guys are playing the entire game every single night unless they foul out, it's shocking to me that Brandon Roy didn't make it. Although his overall did go down a little bit when I moved him to the point guard position, but he's still like an 89, and you can't make the All-Star team. You're playing the entire game. It says you're on fire. What happened? And still, even with these guys playing the whole game, who would have thought? Luka, he's the MVP. I don't understand. Luka might be the greatest player 2K has ever put into the game. When you look at how well he plays in the sim, he is just ridiculous. Charles Barkley and Chris Webber are All-NBA first-team players. And then also, we saw 2 of our other guys named to the All-NBA teams with Marc Gasol and Reggie Miller on the All-NBA third team. On the All-Defensive team, we had Chris Webber and Charles Barkley. So they had really good seasons, All-NBA first team and All-Defensive second team. We're in here as the first seed, and the guy who led the way was Charles Barkley. I put this team on the Phoenix Suns because Barkley was with Phoenix during his prime years. And man, our guys were hooping, especially the assists. Guys were passing it around. They weren't being selfish with the ball. We didn't have too many shooters, which is going to be a little scary when it comes down to the playoffs, but hopefully we'll still be able to make something happen. But as you can see, it was really Reggie and Brandon Roy carrying our shooting. All right, let's get into the first round. We got Sacramento. They should not be lighting the beam against us. That was cool how they got that beam, though. That was sick. Round 2, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves, and somehow they're up 3-0. Do y'all see our squad compared to the Timberwolves? And like, I can't shorten the rotation so that we can have our guys playing more minutes. They're already playing the whole game. So I guess we'll jump into Simcast and see what happens. It's kind of a back and forth game going throughout the third quarter, really throughout the entirety of it. But in the fourth, the Timberwolves just barely pull away, and we're going to end up losing. What an L video, I know. But guess what? We're going to try to come back for one more run because I don't want this to be the way the video ends. I want us to at least have a chance at one championship. Like, what's going on? So we're going to run it back one more season as the Philadelphia 76ers, led by Joel Embiid, are your NBA champions for this year. But jumping into player progression, we see a little scary sight considering the fact that we're trying to repeat as champions. This is not what you want to see. Not one player got better. Everybody's falling off, so it's not looking good for us. Let's go ahead and let's jump into this next playoff run, though, and see if we can make something happen. Round 1, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves once again. Of course, we beat them this time, but in round 2, Zion and the Pelicans take us out. So what an L video, man. The Sixers repeat as champions, I guess, but we were supposed to win a three-peat. They got 2 in a row. We didn't get anything. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.